Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm BoDreay Fraser, the lead practitioner and co-creator of iHeal Collective. I am here today with Sean Allman, our other co-creator, and Antony Sammeroff.
Hello.
He's one of our top practitioners. He's an author, he's a speaker, he's a psychotherapist. Is there anything you don't do, Antony? Synchronized swimming. How are you at synchronized swimming?
Well,
With or without practice?
that's not my strong suit.
Fair enough.
I don't even have a suit for that.
So we just got back from Anarchapulco. I actually just got back on the weekend. I was there for almost 3 weeks. It was absolutely fantastic. And we just want to tell you guys a little bit about our highlights, the experience of it being in Puerto Vallarta. Antony, why don't you take it away?
Well, we had a new venue in Puerto Vallarta. In previous years, the conference taking place in Acapulco, hence the name Anarchapulco. Crazy. But that's not a very easy place to get to. So I think that holding it in Puerto Vallarta, which is a really, really nice place, was a good choice. There's lots of direct flights there, so people didn't need to switch in Mexico City. And numbers were up. And
Significantly.
in terms of an event to go to where you can meet liberty-minded people that make you feel like you're not completely insane for seeing through the BS in the news and whatnot, it's one of the best. I mean, it just really keeps your sanity. The people there are very knowledgeable, so you learn about stuff just speaking to the regular people. The speakers are accessible, so you can meet some of your heroes. And if you're a very knowledgeable ranter, you'll find people there who actually like to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, there's no zombies there with glazed over eyes.
No more bullying your aunt over dinner to get her to understand that she shouldn't take her ninth booster.
And you also crushed it this year on
I crushed
Bodywork.
But just by being a human.
Just by being a human. But we actually had Christian Yornadov this year that pre-booked a session with Antony every single day. He was there, so I must say that says something.
Yeah, I made friends with Christian Yordanov, the great Christian Yordanov, author of How to Actually Live Longer. I made friends with him last year. He did, it was one of these things where you just meet someone and you instantly fall into their wavelength. So
Quick on the draw.
We made friends, and then he came for a treatment on the last day, and he saw such a huge difference in his arm that he was like, oh, I'm really actually disappointed. He was like, it hurt, but it had to be done. I'm sorry that I only came on the last day because I would have liked more of that. So in advance, he got on early and messaged me a couple of months before the conference to say, I need to come and see you every day this year. So we sorted him out.
And don't hesitate, if you know we're going to an event, to reach out to us early so that you are able to secure spots that way.
Avoid disappointment. I should say Chris Yordanov has an online program to help people who really want to take their health into their own hands. And he's helped tons of people reverse diseases and whatnot, things that you're not allowed to say on in certain countries because of medical laws.
So we're not in a country, we're on the internet.
That's right. If that's something that you're interested in, get in touch with us because we've got a coupon code for that.
Yeah, he has a free masterclass coming up as well, so it could be a bit of an introduction if that is something that you guys are looking into, to lean more into natural health and ways to deal with this without going too big pharma. Obviously, we are handling the structural. It's really interesting.
For those that don't know, what was it that you were doing at Anarchapulco in terms of hands-on body work?
So in terms of hands-on body work, it's what we call our mixed modality therapy. So we're starting with the advanced reflexology, weaving in our mixed modality body work, maybe sometimes some cupping, sound and vibrational healing, lymphatic drainage, and really treating the body as a holistic being, not just targeting one system, but working within the peripheral and central nervous system reconnection, working within lymphatic flow, working in meridian flow, and obviously releasing the tension at the causality of the problem, not just treating the symptom. And I mean, I had a similar
Fascia.
Fascia. I had a similar situation with Tim James this year. Yeah.
You had a amazing connection because you made a extraordinary impression on him.
Yeah. Tim James from Chemical Free Body.
Chemical Free Body.
Yeah, he makes these incredible green drinks in the morning that are so full of everything that you need for the day. So we will be working with him and actually be on his podcast and vice versa, I think, within the next couple of weeks. That's something to look forward to. And I would say my other highlight was probably working on IMA. I've been a huge fan of her music since basically she kind of came out and started talking about the freedom movement. She's got some incredible videos, and how would you describe her music, Sean?
Well, she's definitely has a pop sensibility, but there's a underlying complexity to her music that's a lot of fun. Her songs take you on journeys, melodically and stylistically.
It's in the electronic music with pop genre.
Yes, but
they call her Red Pill Taylor Swift.
Right.
I like that a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and I think her songwriting is so strong that you could play those songs on any instrument, and they're great songs. And I love the like the EDM feel they have, and it's
as a
great
performance
stuff.
artist, watching her perform, I was like, oh, that's the real stuff. I've been missing some of that from my life. I mean, not actually, to be fair, I just got to go to Mexico City and work on Benji dub effects. So I mean, I guess it's been a good season for me music wise, but it's never enough. So we'll have her on the podcast as well. I think that'll be a great discussion.
Yeah,
So-
she has quite an interesting story. I believe she comes from the medical industry.
Yeah, she's actually a doctor.
Right. So she was a medical doctor in Australia and encountered some things. So that'll be a really interesting conversation, not only to that, but how she, kind of changed trajectory and became an incredibly successful, popular artist really fast.
Only to have the rug yanked out under her. But I don't want to go too much into that. I want to save that a bit for her podcast. I think I'd like her to kind of take us through that journey. There's a little teaser for you. And then also, Sean absolutely crushed it at Anarchapulco this year. His talk was incredible. No, he likes this. But what I wanted to say...
Yeah, a lot of people told us it was one of their favorite talks.
Yeah, and I think he hopped on about 5 minutes of my talk last year and absolutely crushed it. I feel like he blew me out of the water. So this year I was like, well, I'm already doing the workshops. I'm going to do the body workers. I'm helping run the booth. Why don't you take it over? I have complete confidence in him, but I think he blew my expectations out of the water. I think everyone in our company was pretty just like, wow, during the talk. And like I said, some of the best speakers, or I would say maybe the speaker, I don't say the best, but the speakers with the biggest audiences came up to me personally and said it was one of their favorite talks, if not their favorite talk of the convention. So,
well, that's really nice to hear. I really appreciate that, and it's not something that I feel should have that. I appreciate the praise, but I mean, these are things that I enjoy researching and I enjoy talking about. I take great pleasure in knowing the inner workings of the universe and how amazing and special and magical it still is, and how a lot of the phenomena that we discount as magic or woo-woo absolutely actually exist. I mean, everybody walks around with a crystal in their pocket and then talks to people all around the world with it. That's a cell phone. How is that not magic? We're surrounded with it. And returning back to the original ideas that these incredibly gifted individuals had at the turn of the century, and where our technology may have diverged and our healthcare system may have diverged, and it's in not unsimilar ways, but also the discoveries that are happening on the magic side, you could say, are happening every day. There's progress being made, and it ties together not just health and Eastern medicine and Western structural medicine and light medicine and energy medicine and spiritual medicine, but it even ties into possibly releasing humanity from dependency on fossil fuels, because in these knowledge bases lies the true mechanisms of the universe, and mastering those and acknowledging them and increasing our knowledge on how they all work will have the side effect of other technologies being developed that really could change the world very quickly and head humanity into a super beneficial paradigm shift. And I see those things not as separate, those concepts of health and healing and body work and the trajectory of humanity. I see them as being intertwined in one of the same systems. So it's a lot of fun for me to talk about.
Yeah, and I think you did a really good job. See, I look at a lot of that knowledge as maybe inaccessible is the wrong word, but I have a really hard time sitting for 4 hours through a lot of the dry lectures that Sean sits through to accumulate this knowledge and be able to put it all together in a palatable way that's entertaining for us to understand. Same with you, Antony. You know, when you're writing Big Pharma Gets Quacks Like a Duck, is pulling up all those studies and having to go through that. The average human,
What?
including myself, does not want to spend the time to do that. So we have to be very grateful to the people like Sean or Antony that are
not
taking the
average.
time. They're not average to put. Well, none of us, you guys are average.
Well,
Just your
everyone's
own
on the
field. But you
spectrum.
understand what I'm saying is you guys.
In
are,
our case, it just happens to be the autistic
I'm trying to praise
spectrum.
you guys here, make it so hard. But they've taken the time to cut through a lot of that dry, maybe hard to understand, linguistically challenging, conceptually challenging, and be able to put it into a platform that was easy to digest, but still challenged you. So I have to give credit where credit's due. I don't have to do a lot of that work in my life.
No, I think you do though, because
Do I?
it's just one person that you reach out to as an ambassador, and you're more of that kind of thing than I am. Like, I'm a researcher and I'm just presenting kind of trains of thought that connect to each other. I'm not actually doing or inventing anything, not yet anyways. Whereas
Watch
you
this
being
space.
you being you being as a practitioner though is you're actually a manual hands-on type, and so
Yes.
reaching just one person, their trajectory could have a knock-on effect of exponential growth, right? And
Yeah.
so it's important that someone does what we're doing and more people do it, not just us.
Well, and it's so great to work with, like Antony was saying, with the people from the freedom community. You know, they're just so turned on. So even when it comes down to body work, I absolutely love that. I'm not having to explain basic concepts like the jabs are poison to these people. We already know. So
We can
that's
talk about solutions.
Solutions. So that's a really beautiful thing. And everyone there seems to be on the wave of like, how can I help myself beyond this? And that's usually something a lot of the time that we're pulling our hair out to try to get people to do to follow up with their protocols, not these people. So I have to say that's extremely refreshing. And I wish there was one of these every 3 months, because I think that for us at least, it really just lights a fire. After we got back, obviously it took a little time to rest for a couple days, but we're like, let's go, so we're able to keep that fire going with our community. So if you guys are struggling to, not lose your mind being surrounded by the people you're surrounded by, look into the freedom events. Anarchapulco is my absolute favorite. There's a few more that we'll be going to, but I must say Anarchapulco seems to be fresh every year. Like this year's speakers and the talks, I didn't get to see very many of them because I was working, but I'm absolutely motivated to go watch these ones. Whereas I find some of the other events I've been to, it seems to be a lot of the same thing. So I have to give Anarchapulco props. And the convention center, obviously being inside was a little bit different, but as a place to land, I think it was absolutely incredible.
Well, the logistics were just simply easier.
They're
The
so
airport is
easier.
close. It's an international
food
airport.
was incredible.
Food is amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta is known
Yeah.
as a culinary hotspot that's
they
in
did
the
not
top
disappoint.
in the top 10 of the entire world.
And especially this year, VIP tickets are a little bit more expensive, but I must say, this year especially, you got your value's worth. Like it was really well done. I have to give props to the team, to Lily, to Jeff, to Kat, to Kel, and the incredible volunteers, all of them were amazing. We have a special sale on our website right now.
I love your eye drops.
That
I
it?
love them.
Yeah?
At first I didn't think I'd like them because of that little bit of a irritation, that little bit of a burn.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I find that I think my eyes feel brighter with them, so better.
All right, everybody. So the next product I want to talk about is our Eye Bright. After long hours of screen time, which we all seem to have exposure to, it's going to help clear environmental irritants from your eyes, and it's going to soothe irritation that might arise from dust, pollen, other allergens, promote the healing of dry eyes, obviously, as well, and aid in the recovery of minor injuries or discomforts, obviously to help dispel floaters, maintain sharper vision, and to treat the effects of glaucoma and cataracts and macular degeneration. So I really, really, really encourage you guys to pick up a bottle of the Eye Bright, whether it's for yourself or for your loved ones. Genesis 15 is the coupon code for our store for the next month.
Right.
That's
specifically
true. That's
for
not
the-
going to run for very much longer.
No, so hop on there. You're going to be able to get a bit of a discount there for our products that we were selling there. But I know there was a lot of people.
The
that-
amazing.
Eye
Amazing.
drops, the best toothpaste in the world. Those are the two most. Those are the two most popular products.
Oh, don't forget the Sacred Salve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they all have their own merit, and
That's
we've
true.
worked really hard for several years on these products. We're super proud of them. There's no trash in them. It's everything in them is special and therapeutic in its own right, and it's all natural medicine. It's all plant-based. It's just beautiful stuff. We're working with an incredibly intelligent maker,
Shout out
a
to Kate.
distiller. Yes, and she's just knocked it right out of the
She
park.
took everything I did and just made it better. A funny story about the eye drops. They seem to be, maybe it's just the thing that people are struggling with the most. So they can't find any help for anything that works. I was at the opening party and I had 5 people, I kid you not, come up to me and be like, got the eye drops? Like I was just carrying them around ready to sell out of my purse. And I was like, it's a party. The booth will be open tomorrow. Like, but you have them right now. Can you go get them for me? And I was like, whoa.
And I mean, right now with all of the stuff going on in the Middle East, it's probably a good time to pick some up because there could be disruptions in our ability as we get our resin from the Middle East.
And we're only ever going to use the best. So if we can't get it, we can't get it. So yeah, we're not going to
now's the time to pick it up. We got
Yeah.
the Genesis 15 code out there. Run out there and get it.
Yeah,
That's in the store. Links in the comments. Check that out.
So all in all, I'm just I'm super grateful to our entire team. All of our practitioners crushed it, and really, really looking forward to just keeping this momentum going into our next events. Antony, right after Anarchapulco, actually went to Portal Gathering.
That was great.
They invited us as well, but the crossover was just too tight. Actually, right before we talk about that, get into that, I just want to touch base very briefly on what happened after Anarchapulco.
Oh yeah.
We were boots on the ground.
Some excitement, if you want to call it that.
Right, when the
theater,
the head of the cartel out there was actually killed.
They had a theatrical production.
They did, and it was a show of power. Some Oxos blew up, some chain stores like Sam's Club and Walmart, they lit them on fire. No civilians were killed. We were not targeted in this. This was simply a show of power, and I heard a lot of stuff on the internet, like there's blood running through the streets all over Mexico, and I was like, where? I mean, I'm here. It literally shut Puerto Vallarta down for one day. Day 2.
Yeah. But you didn't know how long it was going to last when it kicked off. So it's a little bit like that.
It was nerve-wracking for the one day.
The curve thing.
Yeah, right.
Not because I was scared of being harmed.
It had a lot of hallmarks of a psyop.
Just because...
Jeff knows how to throw a party.
Just because you didn't know how long it was going to last. I mean, things were closed for...
They were closed for a day and a half.
They opened up the airport 3 days later, but a lot of people who'd gone to the conferences were stuck in Puerto Vallarta for longer than they thought they'd be. Their flights were cancelled or moved back.
So they came over to our house and we just did Bodywork with Apache helicopters flying over. And so it was really interesting. And, us that live in Mexico, we watched the Mexicans. It wasn't like Canada. If the food stores were shut, there would have been people freaking out. It's like the next day there was the Nintendo's opening, but they're not that reliant on the government here for things like food. So that was really, really interesting to go through that. And in the midst of all of this, I was like, I'd still rather be in this than Canada. And to be honest, Anarchapulco takes grit. They're hit us with hurricanes, with floods, with earthquakes, and this year it was that.
It's like life is a movie.
It is. Our life is a movie. But back to Antony. Tell us a little bit about Portal Gathering, because I would like to make it there one day. We're happy we're just an Antony.
Yeah, great. So that's an event that's only been running a couple of years. Several years ago, I went to something called Mariposa Freedom Festival, which means Butterfly Freedom Festival. And the same friend is part of the team organizing that in Tepoztlan, which is a lovely place to go. Again, pretty easy to get to because it's near Mexico City. You can just get a bus to Tepoztlan in about an hour and a half.
Tepoztlan.
Beautiful there.
A lovely place. And chilled. Did some body work. I did my talk, Trauma and the Body, which is always different every time I do it, which is one of the things I love about it.
Did they record it? Or are we going to get some footage of that?
It may be recorded. I imagine it was recorded, yeah.
Okay.
So you know why they called it Portal Gathering and they had it in Tepoztlan?
Go on.
Because Tepoztlan is historically known as a portal or a magical site. In fact, many legends say it is the birthplace of the dragon, the Aztec Quetzalcoatl, yes.
The feathered serpent.
The feathered serpent,
Yeah.
That's where it came from and that's where it lives. And so it's been considered a holy land or an energetic place or a magical place.
And you also see a lot of orbs out there. Yeah. And if you when you guys get the opportunity to look at Sean's talk, he talks a lot about that. And I actually think there will be a link to this talk, so you can buy the virtual access ticket in my workshop as well for the Anarchapulco. So
so you'll get access to not just my talk, which apparently people liked, which is great, but also many, many more from extremely intelligent people telling you very useful advice that a lot of people can use in their own life. With like Andrew Kaufman, he explains how to protect yourself in a legal sense if you end up in the hospital. And this is something that puts you in sometimes what is an incredibly dangerous situation if you don't have your legal bolts tightened. And he shows you how to do that. There's also talks on sovereignty and banking how to get involved with metals, silver and gold. Our friend Mark Gonzalez educates all about that. There's stuff about homesteading and then the legal framework to protect the homestead once you have it built. That's Curtis Stone, a Canadian. He's extremely well known for his Urban Farmer channel on YouTube. It's got millions of followers. So there's Gareth Ike, the son of David Ike, who joined us virtually because he's basically not allowed to travel anywhere in the world because of what? Why is David Ike banned? Truth. Where a certain president or prime minister right now is perpetually on an airplane. Isn't that funny? But the quality of the knowledge at this place, it's worth going to the website and getting a virtual ticket right now.
I think we get a discount code for you guys to discount iHeal 10.
Yes.
Or iHeal.
No, it's just iHeal.
It's just iHeal, yeah. So use that.
Use that. That will give you a nice little discount. And you won't be disappointed. They did a great job recording them all in high fidelity and with great sound, and the presentations are awesome. So, I mean,
did you find Portal Gathering was very similar that way, Antony, as far as what they were offering? Sean was talking about sovereignty.
It was a little bit more rustic, and there was more of a, there was presentations on various. There was more stuff regarding health, psychology, and stuff like that. And it was a very low cost event. I think tickets ran about $135. Oh, wow. So it was like really inexpensive. So it was a bit tree hugger, and not necessarily in a bad way.
We like hugging trees.
I use that affectionately. We've talked a bit about the value of going to these events and connecting with other people. I should give a shout out to the website worldchanging.events, because if you bring up that website, you'll find out if there's anything like this near you, or maybe a little bit far away from you in the same country as you that you might want to travel to,
or maybe even a different country. Antony, he goes everywhere.
There's a couple in the UK. There's stuff in Costa Rica, Mexico.
So they're doing
USA.
they're doing franchising.
Yeah, that's great.
It's just worldchanging.events. They're just a directory of conscious events. So
you're only as strong as your network.
That's right.
This is a great place to build
that. For myself
personally,
I just think the more freedom-oriented events you can get to, the more world-changing.events you can get to. It's just so good to know who's out there, who's thinking, who's ahead of the curve.
Who's talking about solutions,
and who can inspire you. Because sometimes
Exactly.
the drudgery of what we're playing up on our screens all day, it's like, you start to feel defeated and hopeless. Well, here's some people on your team to help inspire you to keep the freedom going within your own heart, your own soul, and be able to, conduct the movement forward. And then you're also going to, what's your next event?
Confluence.
Oh, Confluence, Alex X.
If there's not something before then, So Alex Zek, I went and did bodywork there last time. I made friends with Alex Zek at Librepilco.
Yeah, that's right.
We've met several times before at events, but it was more of a flash in the pan. And this year at the Greater Reset, we spent quite a lot of time hanging out together. So as you can hear, I go to quite a lot of these events.
He
just
does,
love
and
being at them.
thankfully we can actually send Antony, because it's a lot harder for us to get to everything. I actually, right around Confluence, I got booked for another event, which is actually going to be amazing. It's an Ibogaine retreat down with Casa Wellness down in Puerto Escondido. They do incredible Ibogaine ceremonies and work and retreats that aren't just Ibogaine, but are kind of, once again, holistically taking care of a lot of stuff. So there's actually, I got a message today, there's one spot left.
Right.
So if you guys are looking to get into that, send us a message. It's not that easy to get into. Generally, there's a waiting list, but they had somebody drop out, and Christy wanted to push it into our community because I know there's been people looking. So send us a message ASAP. And there's a few other ones coming up as well. We're going to have the information on the website. We actually have a podcast booked with them as well, I believe, later in the week. So that's really great. And I want to ask you, Antony, on the subject of Ibogaine or Iboga, and actually I want to give a shout out before that to Christian Melchizedek, who did a amazing Iboga kind of just informational.
Christoph Melchizedek.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, Christoph. There's too many C words, too many C names at these events. I did that the entire week. But he was really pushing iboga into people's faces as well, which I'm so happy for, because so many people are so ignorant about it, including myself. I've only just recently last year learned. And then you've just started iboga.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So for those of you who don't know, iboga is a root that comes from Africa, and it's kind of like if you think of ayahuasca as the mother, they say iboga is more like the father.
Grandfather.
And grandfather. I apologize. You're so preeminent. And the thing is, people have used it to get off drugs. Some people even say in one big dose, they've done that.
That's more the ibogaine, though. Let's define that. So we're talking about iboga. We're more talking about microdoses of iboga.
Right, okay.
The ibogaine, that's what you're going for like the week retreat to get you
so
off
that's
opiates.
the extract.
Yeah.
The extract. So people go
That's
to
done
change
under
their
medical
lives.
supervision.
Yeah, because there's certain things that are contraindicated against it. If you've got a heart condition, if you've got a history of seizures, or if you're on the wrong meds, basically it can interact. So they take that seriously and they monitor people medically.
And if they're not, don't do it.
However, it's been used to help people get freedom from their compulsive behavior. And I think I'm say like 6 days into the microdose protocol.
That's what the chocolate bars they're making, which are actually delicious and have other newer enhancements in them.
Right.
And they actually developed these to work with children that were nonverbal to get them verbal from
Oh,
autistic
wow, from
children.
autistic.
And it's working.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, we also apparently, like Antony said, are somewhere on the spectrum. So for myself, it stops my circular thinking. I kind of wake up in the morning sometimes. There's an overwhelming feeling of dread. And I notice when I'm doing the iboga treatments, I don't have that. I'm a lot more, I'm up very focused. I have a lot of energy, and like Antony says, some are more compulsive things
Right,
are not as
exactly.
prevalent.
One thing I noticed was last night, I've got a habit of eating really quickly, and I've even complained about that to people and how hard it is to get over that habit. And I didn't try. I just sat down to dinner and I noticed I was eating slowly, which was like incredible for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so some of those more little compulsive things I've noticed with myself as well. I know Sean's done the treatment. So that's another thing Casa Wellness does, is trying to get iboga to the people on that level, because not everyone can afford or has the ability to do, come for the ibogaine. If you can do it though, I think a lot of people talk about being able to, where is ayahuasca, like Antony was saying, is more external to some degree, and you have to, once you're done the ayahuasca, you're done. Ibogaine doesn't work like that. It stays cumulative in your liver, so you're still feeling effects for a long time after. So I think it's something that you get to a different kind of level to a degree, where I've had people I've talked to that's like, I work through my deepest shames, as an observer with no judgment, to pull me out of whatever period of life I was going into, my destructive habits, or even building habits that are constructive and bringing you forward. So I think it's really, really beautiful medicine.
People getting off smoking too much tobacco, if people are getting off too much caffeine, and harder drugs as well.
And sorting out their childhood traumas.
It's known in a few circles, because I think it's like gray zone legal in certain states in the United States, but it has been used as, funny enough, a last resort, though I think it should be, one of the first things presented, for extremely severe cases of veterans having PTSD and or concurrent drug addictions or alcohol abuse going on.
I believe they just passed a law, or they're pushing it through. Maybe it was Kentucky. It was one of the southern states that is going to start being one of the first treatments they turn to for veteran PTSD.
Well, until that happens, there's very good clinics in Mexico that you can check out, and we have a personal relationship, as we're friends with them.
They're very ethical as well.
And magical people.
They're very concerned with doing everything ethically. If you have a rate of 99, a safety rate of 99%, that's still 1 out of every 100 people who's going to die. That's how serious they take those safety concerns about contraindications and stuff like that. They're very, very careful.
And
very thorough.
What I like about it is, like I said, it's not just the ibogaine. They're bringing in us for structural body work. They have other people coming to different therapies. So it's really a holistic experience that I don't think you get from every other clinic that does ibogaine. I've researched quite a bit about it. And obviously, we are friends with them, and they are amazing people. So that's really awesome. So if you guys are interested in that or the further retreats, we're going to be talking to them. But we will post some information after as well. It's where you can contact us directly, at least for this retreat coming up. It is from the 12th, I believe, to the 18th.
12th to 18th.
Yeah, and then Antony, you're going to be at Confluence. Sean's got a busy season coming up as well. We've got a lot of film projects on the go, so that's very exciting. And then that's going to take us into summertime. And I think that Antony and I are going to do a little bit of a tour, at least at the beginning of summer. We're looking potentially to start in Houston this year, and then make our way down to Austin. And then we'll probably maybe even be in Sedona, and then go over to California. up to Grass Valley, where I love to be, and then a little bit in LA, maybe San Diego. We'll see how much time we have. And then we potentially might be doing Freedom Fest as well, so stay tuned. That will be in Vegas in July. We will keep you guys, even if we're not going, we'll keep you guys up to date on that because that's another fabulous Freedom Festival. But we are trying to get all the pieces together. You know, we're a bit of a pain in the ass to get to events. We've got tables and massive products and Brown's gas machines. So we're doing our best we can to hit everything we can. But if not, we have people like Antony we can send in so people are still be able to get healing and get education.
Yeah, we're working on ways that we don't have to travel like the Queen of England. You know what I mean? It's like we'll set up sleeper cells and be able to, because we really do want to get out and meet people in person. That's what matters the most is connecting at these events.
And being able to to get our hands on. That's the thing is I have 15 practitioners in the world that can do what we do. That's not enough. So it's being able to get the word out there. We have that's what else we have coming up. In May, we have our next treatment training.
Amazing.
We still have a couple spots left for that. So if you guys are interested.
If you want to become one of our sleeper cells.
That's right.
If you want to become preeminent in your field and go to events and meet amazing people.
You get missions over the phone.
Or just stay in your own town and become a well-known healer.
I'll send it to you on a self-destructive videotape.
Or if you just want to learn how to correct your own body
That's
and
true.
your friends and family. Not everyone that comes into the training ends up wanting to be a practitioner. Some aren't called to it. Or maybe it's not even the right time in their life, but they are getting the education that they can move forward with an entire new career. Or just be the town, little doctor in the corner that everyone, you don't have to advertise. People will find you. Trust me, they'll find you, even if you don't want to be found. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and it is quite like a retreat style course.
It is.
Yeah.
I should say I've been going to retreats since I was in my early 20s, or maybe even earlier. And the last course we did was possibly the most profound retreat I've ever gone on. Everyone was not just learning the body work. They were having emotional and psychological breakthroughs. They were talking about what was really important to them. It was a really close-knit community and people felt very connected to the other students. They made friends for life. And I would say if you can go on the course, whether you want a career change or whether you want to get your body worked on for 15 days or you think it's something you could do on the side a little bit for a while before to see I've recommended it to so many friends and many of them are considering it, have not got round to doing it yet. I mean, but I continue to recommend it to people. It's definitely changed my life. So that's why, I'm so involved in iHeal Collective because when BoDreay and I met, it was a very divine moment when BoDreay and I met, and it didn't even necessarily know that at the time. The first time I ever said that was on the course. And now that we've got this behind us, because, I come from a psychotherapy background and I've been studying trauma for 20 years, starting with my own, obviously. That's the best place to start. And I was of the opinion that one of the reasons why the therapy works so well is what it was doing was discharging the fight, flight, or freeze response from the body, right? So I was able to add that into the course a little, where my presentation called Trauma in the Body really came from. I wrote it as a class for BoDreay's course. And then I was at an event this year, and one of the people I worked on is a trauma therapist, and I told her some of my theses, and she wanted to experience it for herself. And she just used a slightly different terminology for me. She calls it shock. She was like, I was definitely discharging shock there. So as a different expert from a different field of coming into this information was able to corroborate
Just going to enter the chat.
some of our theories.
This is a fundamental idea that I'm trying to get across with bringing all of these modalities together and thought trees is that maybe the language isn't exactly the same, but the concepts are.
And that the universality of the healing modalities, when you look into different forms, you can take it from two different ways. When you take it through the precursors of, say, fascial work, whether it be Rolf or Traeger, Alexander, Feldenkrais, these guys were pushing around a concept that was when you, in the stress of life, you might clench and then unclench. And forget to unclench. Supposing you just unclench 99% every time you get shocked or you suffer trauma in your life. Over the months and years of your life, that would be a lot of clenching. And what does our bodywork do?
An overabundance of clenching. Doctor, help me.
It releases so much tightness from the muscles in the fascia. Then you can go down the psychology route. I mean, Wilhelm Reich was the first psychotherapist to really take this idea that when people get traumatized, it changes the way they stand. He said he developed this concept that people take on character armor. And he stopped just listening to what his patients said the way that Freud did. And he started thinking, how do they say it? How does their body language change when they talk? Do they have this fake smile on their face? He had a patient that really pissed him off because every time the patient said something traumatizing, he'd have this big friendly smile on his face. He said, you're using that smile as a defense. So you can come at it from so many angles. But they were...
Oh, you can see how that's a coping effect. It's like,
right.
I crashed my car into a wall, and now I am getting sued for $1 million too.
There's something funny about it, right?
Yeah,
because
but that's
and a lot of the time people laugh when they talk about something traumatizing, and that's because they're afraid that someone won't take them seriously. So they'll use defense mechanisms like that. Sorry to interrupt you, Sean.
No, I was just adding in.
So when you see the universality of what all of these experts discovered independently of one another, and the way that we've been able to take our expertise and roll it into this course, there must be nothing like it on the planet right now. So whatever you're coming to get your body treated, to learn how to work on your friends and family, to find a new career, to be a part of the cutting edge of healthcare, if my example is anything to go by, like, I would not miss this course for the world. Anything I had something going on back in Scotland. I asked them to push back the date because I was not going to frickin' miss this highlight of my year. So guys, if you can do it, I suggest that you do it.
Yeah, and reach out as soon as possible. We have our webpage for our training because there is quite a bit of interest, especially coming from Acapulco. So I don't want anyone to miss out that's, really wants to get in. We're going to probably do another one in November, potentially even followed by a retreat. So there will be more opportunity in the future as well, but don't miss it. I really love the May course. It's a little bit slower around town. And the air, like I said, the air we have is just beautiful. Like Antony said, it's a lot more like a retreat, but with the education. And we know bodywork's expensive. So it's a really good way to get your body corrected while learning an education. And I think I haven't seen anyone else really doing that to the level that we are. So I'm quite proud of that.
Yeah,
and I'm
there's
so
a lot
glad
of
you had that
value.
experience,
It's cutting
Antony.
edge. And I'm sorry to go on. I'm not sorry because I just want you to know this, right? If you don't already know, briefly on my journey, I spent months on yoga retreats in India trying to sort out my body being tight. I tried so many things: physio, chiropractor, osteopath, rolfing, Thai massage. I'm sure I'm missing some other stuff, and craniosacral therapy. And the latter, I never knew I was going to be a body worker, but I realized that I got a little piece of the puzzle from each of those treatments.
Yeah.
Even though I was still getting worse, not better, when I met BoDreay. And I have to say, after my first couple of treatments, even though they were completely mind-blowing, I thought, well, what she's done is amazing, but I can't see myself doing it. But after 6, I was like, if I don't learn this, I'll be an idiot. I'd be an idiot not to learn this. And I've been doing it ever since.
AI is not going to take our job.
Right, okay. So
That's true.
As far as I'm concerned, this is cutting edge in the world. And if you want to be part of the leading edge, come and learn, but also make friends with us. Thinking, I'm going out for 15 days to Mexico to learn the healing arts, because that's a good thing to do in my life. That's a good thing to learn in my life. That will enrich my life. Then you can decide what to do with it, but you'll also be plugged in to this beautiful network of people that we've been developing, and you'll be at the leading edge of that. It truly is a beautiful network. We just got Tim from Chemical Free Body, Christian Yordanov, and of course the other 15 practitioners who we're honored to count our friends.
Absolutely. And they're located, somewhat all over the world, but we need more. And that's why we're really grateful that Antony is able to do the amount of traveling he can. He's going to actually be in Orlando for a couple days. So if you know anyone there suffering from chronic pain, I think early next week or this weekend.
Or even if you just know people in Orlando and other places in Florida, because I'm there frequently.
And I feel like we haven't really given Florida much. We haven't tapped Florida very much because none of our practitioners on the East Coast. And there's a lot of people in Florida, obviously being a retirement place as well, that's struggling with their health and body. So if you know anyone there that you want to let know that there is someone that's coming to town that won't just treat them and make it be a Band-Aid, but can actually help them start to correct their chronic pain, please shoot us an email at admin at iHealcollective.com and we'll pass that on for him.
Because I cross the Atlantic every now and then, the best places to fly from London are Orlando and Miami. So I've spent months of my life in Florida over the last 6 years. So it's a place that I'd like.
And, we're not adverse to going to other places that aren't within our route, but usually the best way to do it, if you are trying to get iHeal Collective practitioners there, is get a group of people together so you're able to split the cost of the therapist, travel, and rider. That's a really great way to do it. Antony has one of those coming up as well. Or there's a lot of fly-ins. I have another fly-in next week that's flying down to Zihuatanejo International Airport. And you get kind of a beach vacation healing trip out of it. So that, it's really interesting. People are starting to do more of that work than just going on a beach vacation and drinking them to themselves the whole time. It's become more of a health and wellness scope to travel, I think, lately. So let us know. I mean, if you're going to be in Houston or Austin or potentially Sedona or California, really reach out because we will be in those areas. But like I said, if there's other areas with requested iHeal practitioners, just touch base with us.
Get in touch with us because we're going to start to create a database. It's high come the time that we do.
Way past the time.
Yeah, and we're going to get a database and we'll know where you are. And then if it's close enough, then we'll get. And there's enough of you because you don't know. We might get 2 or 3 emails from the same place. Then we can ask each of you to bring a friend, and then the next thing you know, someone's able to visit where you are.
Yeah. And if you're running events too, feel free to get in contact with us. We'd love to send Sean and Antony or potentially myself there as well if it works out. We're trying to do a better job this year of just being more accessible community-wise. Last year was a bit tight with our product marketing, but I think we're really back in the game. So we want to make sure that everyone that has that is really called to work on a causality level has the opportunity to see one of our therapists or be a part of the iHeal Collective family.
We've had people who've gone to so many treatments or worked on things for a month and said, that first treatment was better than all of that stuff I did put together.
I've never once had anyone get off my table, not even one time, without fundamental change happening to their body. And this isn't just, it's just like I'm great, but it's mechanics, energetics. Like this works all of the time. So it's really interesting to be in the health department or the health world to be able to say, this therapy always works. It just matters of how much effort you want to put into it. How many other therapies can say that? Like we have a 100% success rate with someone getting off the table and saying, oh my goodness, I feel fundamental change. This is working.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I would be if I hadn't found this therapy. I had...
Me either.
Yeah, I mean, I had repetitive strain injury in my wrist so bad I was scared to pick up my phone. Imagine that it got worse and worse. Yeah. And it's important, so many things that people are... it's heartbreaking being on Facebook and these groups where people are getting surgery for things that we can correct non-surgically. And it's hard, sometimes even just to say something because people think that you're being mercenary, you're just trying to benefit from their suffering. That's not the case. So we kind of rely on you guys to also spread the word because if anything we say is perceived as advertising, right? And I know we've promoted a lot of things on this show today, but that's because we believe in them. And if you're listening to this show, it's because you believe in us. So we're kind of filter. We're filters. We're like laboratories, right? We've had to, for whatever reason, dedicate our lives to our health because we needed to fix it. So in that process, we have acted like a sieve. How do you guys say it? Do you say sieve? Do people say that?
I think we say sieve.
Sieve. Because I just don't know if people know what I mean in my accent. We throw stuff into the sieve and we pan for gold in there and we've discovered things that actually work. And that's what we're here to share with you guys so that you don't have to do the wrong things the right things in the wrong order, like say go to a chiropractor before you get your fascia sorted, or spend months in yoga retreats thinking that that's going to get you flexible when actually the problem's structural.
Yeah.
And if you deal with that first, you'll enjoy the yoga much more.
Everything else
Lord
more.
knows how much worse I would have been if I hadn't done the yoga retreats, so thank God I did. But if I discovered this first, well, BoDreay would have had to discover it first.
The order matters.
Yeah, the order really
matters.
matters. So that's one of the things. Very briefly, you know, when
Not so
you
briefly.
misuse your body, you use it. Let's just say misuse. You've got things to do. Maybe you like tennis. Maybe you like sitting at the computer. Your fascia is an intelligent system. It goes, if you have really good posture and you're doing that repetitive activity, it's very laborious for you. So what the fascia does is it erects straps. Like just imagine you're a dentist and you're always working like this in people's mouths. Your body's going to adapt. It's going to build straps to make that less labor intensive for you. The problem is when you want to go to a natural posture, those straps from you being on the computer too much or whatever you've done too much are now inhibiting you. Right?
And
They're pulling you into the wrong position.
Antony made an incredible little short video about this too. So reach out to him, and he'll actually send it to you. Where should he
Sure,
reach out
I'm
to?
Real Body Mechanics on Instagram, and I
Yeah.
want to make more educational videos.
It was a really good one. I'm actually using it myself.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Is there anything else, Sean, that you wanted to shout out before we wrap this up for the day? Because I know.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to bring up that we only have a couple days left in that sale, and we have limited stock, so definitely check out the store. We have some amazing things in there. People are starting to give us some amazing testimonials about how the eye drops in particular are changing lives, and we love to hear it. And we hopefully will start actually, we're looking to raise funding to do some real hardcore research on that stuff, but that's a ways off for now. It's time to jump on the cutting edge, and whether it's
Awesome.
Bodywork or
DMSO.
whatever, DMSO and energy healing, this is the place to be.
It is. Come and be a part of this. See you in May.
Yes, hopefully see you in May.
Absolutely, and if not this summer, and yeah, we're going to do more podcasts in the next little bit here. We got a ton to work through, so you're going to hear more about this as we move forward. But I think this was a great start. I know Antony's a busy boy; he's got things to do. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you for being my friends.
Of
And
course.
also you out there.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We will see you guys all very soon.